Well, welcome back, Deepa. You're becoming the standard celebrity chef, like coming back on because I mean, probably the primary reason, to be honest with you, I mean, you cook good food, but the primary reason is I like having vegetarian and vegan. I grew up pretty vegan, except anything we could grow or harvest ourselves. And so I don't know, I consider a lot of times chef myself being lazy if I just throw some meat into it, that there's better options. So thank you very much for coming back on. Why do you think you picked this recipe?
Oh, thank you. I always love being here and just so that's cooking skills or something like that. I picked this because this is very easy feeling recipe, and I hope it's like healthier, and it's very tasty, and it's like a fusion food for me. And we usually have this, I think, once a week, and it's very feeling too. So I think it's a good meal if you're in a hurry. It could be like a lunch or dinner. It's easy, just 20 minutes maybe, around, not more than that.
So I grew up
yeah.
in southern Tennessee near a little town called The Farm, and they had a soy dairy there where they made soy milk and tofu. And so I grew up eating a lot of tofu. And there's a lot of jokes about tofu. And I think most of them are deserved because tofu itself, I feel, doesn't have like any taste. But I love that about it because you can put any taste you want into it. I think why for meat eaters chicken is so popular is because it really doesn't, if you just get a chicken breast, it has no taste. And people can put out whatever flavor. So I feel the same about tofu. So I'm excited to I'm excited to actually cook this. I'm not going to say try. I almost always, though, with tofu myself, I freeze it, thaw it out, squeeze it, the moisture out, and then use it. Today I didn't have time. I actually forgot to get tofu. Suzanne was really excited when we were talking yesterday. She's like, what are we making? Sriracha tofu. And she's like, well, I've got sriracha and I've got tofu. But I had neither. And I forgot until this afternoon. So, but look at this variety of wonderful stuff you had me get. All kinds of color and flavors. It's a tremendous variety of stuff. I'm going to go down the list of ingredients real quick, and then we'll get cracking. So extra corn flour, black pepper, ground cumin powder, salt, oil, any kind of cooking oil, sesame oil. Now, I was confused by this, whether it was toasted sesame oil or cooking sesame oil. I personally like the toasted sesame oil for the really nice flavor. Anybody who's ever come to the cooking show before.
The toasted is good if you just need a little sesame oil. And if you need a lot of sesame oil, I favor the untoasted. Oops, we lost Orr.
Oh.
He'll be back.
Yeah.
Here he comes.
I just lost connection on my home internet. So good thing I've got my cell phone here too. So I'm going to turn it over to someone else to read an ingredient list, please. And then Deepa, if you can start. I'm gonna try to see what's wrong with my internet.
I don't have the ingredient list with me right now, but
Okay.
mostly it's we're cooking rice because we're making a meal, so it's like whatever rice is with you, that is fine. Either brown, sticky rice, normal rice, basmati rice, it doesn't matter. So we will be cooking rice separately, and then we will be cooking sriracha tofu with sesame separately. So the main ingredient for that preparing tofu is you need to have few vegetables that can go with tofu. Those are onion, tomato, and peppers. Any kind of peppers, colorful peppers look really good. And of course, tofu. And for our seasoning, we're making a slurry for that. So the important thing on a slurry is you need to have soy sauce because we are making sriracha tofu. So you need to have a sriracha, corn flour to thicken it up, and something that is sour in taste, like white wine vinegar or any kind of white rice vinegar, any kind of vinegar, and a little bit of sweet. And to bind all those, I like to use ketchup in it, and other things are just optional. And garlic and ginger makes it really tasty, so I like to add that too. So let's start with rice first. So it just gets cooking at one end, and then we can work into. So I'm cooking around 1 cup of rice. So let's start with rice first.
I'm gonna be lazy and put it in the rice cooker because I keep
Yeah,
saying we need a class where I just get taught how to make rice. Because now, what kind of rice? Because
for tofu, I usually prefer something like a Japanese or sticky or American rice rather than basmati, because I think it blends properly, because it will be a little bit, it will have a little bit of gravy on it. So I prefer something that is a little bit sticky kind of rice rather than some basmati rice. That's my preference. But and I also like to use brown rice sometimes. So it's
my mom just had me pick her up a big bag of brown basmati.
Did you say brown basmati?
Yeah,
Oh wow.
yeah. I just got her a 10-pound bag of brown basmati today. All right.
I like to wash.
So when you do your rice, do you rinse it
Yeah.
to rinse out the starch and then cook it?
Yeah, I like to do that.
All right. Okay, I can go back to. No, I lost connection. So if someone could reshare the ingredients list. It's no
Well,
longer
still
in the
on
chat.
it's in the chat.
Not for
You
me
want me
because
to
I lost
read? Do
connection.
you want me to read it off?
Or cut and paste it because
Okay. Oh, that's right. You lost it because you came back in. Okay. I don't know. Let me try. I have trouble cutting pasting sometime, but let's see.
it's a phenomenal list of spices. So
There we go.
all right.
Okay, they're back in the chat.
Anything jump out at you that you think is like absolutely great in there? Because it's a blend of a little of all the different spices.
Yeah. I really like white wine vinegar on this one. I have tried rice vinegar, but I really prefer white wine vinegar. I don't know the difference, but
Yeah, so,
I really like
but
that.
not apple cider vinegar.
Not really. I have like never tried that, so I don't know. I have just tried normal vinegar, white wine vinegar, and rice vinegar. So on them, I really liked white wine vinegar.
All right.
Okay, I put my rice on cooking mode, so now we can work on tofu.
All
So
right.
my tofu chunks.
So
Because
the
I'm also pretty lazy, I like to buy the firm one, so I don't have to do lots of prep work before. I just washed it, and I'm just
so you drained it. Now, was yours already pre-cut?
yeah, it was pre-cut.
Okay,
one.
so mine's not. So I'm gonna.
Okay, so this was already
But
pre-cut.
one thing, like if you really want to marinate tofu, like I like pre-cutting it in the container, and then you just pour like your basic marinara sauce in the container and put it back in the fridge.
Oh,
I've done that where I marinate it like 24 hours.
oh,
But
I have never.
so
done
you're
that.
squeezing out as much moisture as you can out of it.
Yeah, yeah. I want a little bit moisture in it. It doesn't matter because it's a foam one, so it doesn't contain lots of moisture. Just we will be coating this with the corn flour, so that we
Don't
can.
sniff tofu. Tofu smells like it's sour.
I
I don't know. But for me, I mean, it brings back lots of memories as a kid. So I'm doing what you're doing, is just getting each piece, and you can squeeze it, or you can get a towel or a paper. Usually what I do, I've already cut I've cut the whole plastic off. What I've done in the past is you just cut one edge, and then you flip the container upside down, and I just poured it on the counter. There's still a little in here, and just let it sit there for a half hour or so, draining, and you'll get.
So I like to cut it in cubes like this.
All right.
Not very big, but like a bite size, I
So for me, that would be.
would say. So because it will be easier to cook as well. So these are the size I'm making.
Now, if you get the soft one tofu, that's when you make you can make a really nice cheesecake substitute with soft tofu that I honestly don't think most people could tell the difference.
Wow.
Because again, tofu doesn't really have much flavor.
Yeah.
It's like eggplant.
But it does have a richness to it, because I mean it is a complete protein. I mean it's basically, cheese made from soybeans, right?
So this is my tofu, and I would like to season it first before frying them. So I will be using
Oh, I already had a bowl out.
I'm using
Big
salt.
one. So what seasoning are you putting into it?
I think the seasoning you made would be great in this as well.
A little of
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
So are we just gonna put the whole list of seasonings we have here? Let's see.
And we will be putting salt and black pepper and ground cumin.
Cumin.
Yeah,
Salt.
like a teaspoon or something like that. It's not much. Because I'm making it kind of fusion food. So,
And
and
you're
if
just
you
putting
like,
this all right on the tofu, right?
yeah, right on the tofu.
Yep, that's how.
Yeah, and I'll just try mixing it.
And
Just
part of it is, I think the idea is if you're putting dry ingredients, you're soaking up that moisture that's on the outside of that tofu. So then it fries crispier.
and I will be adding corn flour on this as well. So maybe
I was very happy to see that as I'm gluten sensitive.
So can I ask, how much cumin? A teaspoon or
teaspoon.
a teaspoon of black pepper too, or salt, or?
Less than a teaspoon of black pepper and salt to taste. Maybe less than a teaspoon. Maybe
Okay.
half a teaspoon of salt and black pepper,
Okay.
and a teaspoon of maybe 1.5 teaspoon of corn flour.
One
Just
and
to
a half
coat
teaspoon.
them.
Teaspoon or tablespoon? Well, we'll see here.
The teaspoon is fine. I think 1.5 teaspoon is fine. I mean, it needs to be coated. If your tofu are like really soft and it has lots of moisture, then you might need a little bit more corn flour. But if it's not soft, then I think 1.5 spoon would be good enough.
Well, we probably should start heating up the oil because you want that oil really nice. And
Yeah.
now I had a cut. I think I didn't do a very decent job of cutting this, and I have a couple of them that are kind of skinny. And when I mixed it, they started falling apart. But overall, you've got some nice cubes here.
I have like a chopped ginger here. I think it will be more. I will be using a tablespoon of chopped garlic later on.
Okay.
And I got this wild garlic from one of my friends. So
Ooh, some wild garlic.
yeah. So because these are smaller in size, so I'm using.
They're a lot stronger.
Oh.
Garlic is a lot stronger in flavor.
And I will be putting half of it. So maybe the 5 cloves of garlic are enough. If you're
Never.
using.
Never say there's enough garlic.
If you have like a big cloves, then 1 or 2 is fine. If you have medium cloves, then 4 or 5 is fine.
I highly recommend start heating your pan because you want that oil really hot.
Yes.
Because even though I put all the spices, it still has a little bit of moisture on it, but overall, it's
Then
almost completely dry.
You need a bit more corn flour so that it doesn't
Good
have
idea, yeah.
moisture. Otherwise, it will be getting stuck on that pan.
I think my favorite tofu is actually if you just put a thin slice of it. Again, you freeze it, make a thin slice, and then put barbecue sauce on it and bake it. I think that's probably my favorite.
And I like to use a chili, so I will be cutting 1 chili.
Okay, I missed something. You had said you already cut garlic and ginger, or
Yeah, minced
but
it
do we need it right now for this or later?
for later, but I started cutting vegetables so that when the tofu is nice and crisp, we can start cooking. That's why I was like, while my pan was getting heated, I tried to cut all those stuff for later on. We don't need it right now. We are just trying to fry our tofu first.
Is it all right if I mix the ginger and garlic together, or do they have to be separate?
Yeah, it's fine. Fine.
Okay. 'Cause it's all going. But sometimes
Okay,
I know you like to layer food.
Any kind of oil is fine. I'm using canola.
I think canola is really good for really high heat.
Yeah.
Now I put it pretty deep because we're trying to kind of deep fry them, probably, right?
Not really. We will be doing shallow frying. I use 3 tablespoons of oil.
There's a thin layer of oil, not more than that.
Yeah.
All right. So I think my pan is almost hot enough already. I'm cutting up my garlic and ginger to try to catch up with you. I think I'm cutting up too much garlic as usual. I half squish them and then it's so much easier to mince them. I don't know. I tend to rough mince garlic, Italian style. I think I call it. All right. What is our next step?
So let the oil heat up little first.
My oil is popping.
Okay, I'll review you something about the tofu first. So what we added was black pepper, ground cumin, and salt, and corn flour in this. Actually, we just tossed it just to mix it properly. And we cut our tofu.
My oil's hot. Put a drop of water in it. Look at the size of this piece of ginger. This is just like, I don't think I need much of this.
I think my oil is heated up. I'll be putting.
You ever peel your ginger? Or
Yeah, always.
always?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think you're supposed to eat the outer products.
So
Yeah,
when I buy the local ginger, I don't peel it because I know it's organic. But when I buy the ginger that's from a store, I know it's from China, and I know that they chemically wash it a lot of times. So I don't know. All right. Looks like you're already starting to fry. I probably should start doing that. All right, let me actually put this on the back burner. So I have this laid out easier to operate. Oh, that oil is nice and hot. And I got a bowl to put it in. Look how nice her cubes are.
Yeah.
I think
Mine do not look like.
I mixed it by shaking the pan, and I think a few of them broke apart doing that.
No worries.
So I missed something. We haven't put the garlic or ginger in yet.
Nothing. We're just frying up some food first.
So let's see. It was just the tofu cut into cubes with black pepper, ground
Salt.
cumin powder, salt, and corn flour.
Okay.
We were frying those. And I was just, she said, chopping the garlic and ginger to be prepared. Let's see. Look at this. I was able to get purple peppers.
Oh, purple?
These are local organic peppers. They're like little purple bells. And also a purple, well, let's see.
Now
Of course, your yellow and your green.
Now I'm trying to cut my vegetable part. So I'm using a red onion for this.
Don't get distracted like I tend to do when I'm cutting things, when I'm frying. All right, cutting up onions. Now I've got both yellow, or you know, the yellow, white, and purple onions. I guess it probably doesn't matter.
I thought I had more red pepper in the fridge, but I only got a half a red pepper. Do you think I could put some zucchini or carrot or celery in this?
Sure. Anything. Anything works.
Maybe not salad.
Do you think that's okay? A carrot?
Carrots, zucchini. Yeah, sure. It
Sure.
will work. It won't matter.
Okay. I have to find, I forgot tomatoes too, so I'm using some frozen tomatoes, but hopefully that'll be okay.
So I went to the farmer's market this morning. It was pouring rain. I went to the farmer's market. I ran in and I grabbed, like, I really wanted some green beans, and I get home and I was just like, wait, I was supposed to get stuff for the cooking show. And by then the farmer's market was over. But I was able to go to the local store and they had everything local.
And if you
Well,
think
except the green
your
onions were not local.
one side is fried, you can switch it like
Super golden brown.
yeah, till it's golden brown.
Got my onions chopped up. What other vegetables? We're just chopping all the vegetables, right?
Oh, we're chopping it, not like really chopping. I'll show you. I'm just working on this.
All right. I'm trying not to get ahead of the.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get.
Because I tend to, when I do what I call a stir fry, I tend to just chop things right into the pan in the order of what takes longer to cook.
Yeah, it's similar.
So. I've got some of these poblano peppers I need to use up, so I think I'm gonna add. Yeah, what are the peppers everybody likes now from New Mexico?
So for onions, we will be cutting like really on a big size, and then we will be separating it the later like this. Like the size of
Looks like-
tofu, that what we did, it was a cube size, so we are cutting onions on the similar size. And we are just separating out the layer. I use like half of the big size red onion. If it's medium size, you can use a whole.
My rice is already done,
Already, that's fast.
or at least the rice cooker popped. So, oh, look at my little bell pepper. This one, it's the teeny one. So, all right. So you're cutting the onion.
making-
You said big and rough.
Something like this.
New Mexican chilies are sometimes called Anaheim chilies.
So I'm using half of every color texture. Like this.
For every color. This is gonna be a colorful dish.
Half of yellow. Just wash it.
All right. If I only use half, I can make a salad with the other half. Tofu. That
Don't
tofu
forget
is
about the
boiling,
tofu.
bubbling away. You just said to cut the pepper into big, rough pieces, right?
Yeah, similar size as we made our onion. So I'm like in my the side is not
Oh, did I turn my sound off? Oh,
Because I've got such a big pan, I actually moved half of it over and added some more to the other side of it. So I've got like this half I flipped over and this half is new. So as it was frying, I've got one here that I need to flip over. We're trying to make these super crispy, right?
yes. But we don't have to cook it like from every side. It's fine if it's crispier from three sides. It's fine. Because we also want to absorb the sauce in it. So it's better, it's not crispier from every side. My tofus are, I think it's crispier from three sides already.
Well, yeah, I guess I used more oil, so as usual, I put too much oil. But if it's hot, so I guess, do we want to make the sauce now, or?
Yeah, I'll be making sauce in the same oil. I'm not changing the oil, but not now. We will be taking out the tofu if it's like crispy from three sides.
Yeah, if you have a sauce and you take it while it's crispy right out and put it in the sauce, it'll absorb that sauce really well, huh? Although,
I like a little bit soft on sides. That's it. It's fine. You can,
I like you do like a Japanese dumpling dipping sauce. You don't put the tofu in the sauce. And you can do it as a snack where you just like get one and dip it in. We did that one year where we fried tofu with no flavors, and then we just put up like 10 different flavors out on the counter, and you can just dip your tofu in whatever flavor you want. It's just like a fancy tofu hors d'oeuvres thing. All right. Getting over there. I think.
So I'm also making the baked chunks.
Have you ever made scrambled tofu instead of like scrambled eggs? They have a version. I just dropped a piece here. Where you just get your tofu and you crumble it up and you fry it with nutritional yeast. And so it ends up being yellow like scrambled eggs.
This is how my tofu turned out to be.
Oh man, I've been making tofu for years and I never make it that beautiful. See?
Mine looks crumbly, but it still looks.
See, I cut mine too small. You made yours a lot bigger, and that's a lot better.
Yeah,
And then
if
a
it's
lot.
bigger,
I saw
it's
how you
better.
fried it. That was really nice. Where you put just a little oil and you fried just on a side.
Okay, so I have this oil here, the leftover oil. I'll be frying everything on this one.
So let's see. So far, I've only got onions and 2 color peppers cut out.
While everything is frying, we can like cut it and put it. Are you guys? Have your tofu already been done? Are we on the same page?
Let's see. Do we need to cut up like all the vegetables, including tomatoes?
We'll be doing tomatoes at the end because tomatoes tends to be like really soft and mushy, so we'll be adding that at the end.
Okay, so let's see. How about what other vegetable we have? Green onion, do we cut those up now? Or that's a topper.
Green onions are for garnishing, so we'll be putting it at the end.
So let's see. So far I've got a green pepper, a purple pepper, a red pepper, and now I'm cut the yellow pepper up.
And onions.
And the onions, yeah.
So I'm adding garlic on the oil.
Oh, and I have the garlic and ginger cut up too, yeah.
Garlic.
Oh, and I have one hot pepper here, an ancho. It's not really a hot, it's a flavorful pepper. You said you're putting a chili.
Yeah, I'm putting chili in.
That's spice it up that way, huh? One of those little Thai chilies.
Yes.
Woohoo! Those pack some heat.
So I'm first frying, and I prefer it to be.
Look at how colorful all those vegetables are. All right.
Thai bird's eye chilies, dried.
See, that's. Oops, wrong camera. It's dripping a little bit, so. Golden brown. I've got half of them here. Perfectly golden brown. Half of them still frying.
Yeah. And if it's a little bit brown, then add your vegetable, your
Onions.
onion to this, and let's first fry our onions first.
Never thought to use corn flour.
My
Added
recipe
a nice
is
crisp to it. Let's see if they're cool enough to taste.
and at the time my onions are frying, we can make a slurry at the time.
I think this is why my mom always liked to bake the tofu in the oven, because there was a lot less time involved or work involved. All right, let me taste it here. That's got a really nice crisp on the outside.
So
That
if the
cornmeal really
onions
gives it a
are
nice
fried,
crunch.
if they're fried, then you can add your veggies in there.
All right, so I've got a big enough pan I could put my onions on one side and start frying them. Yeah, I tend to not chop things ahead of time because I just chop them right into the pan in order of, but then I end up with some of them too mushy, and so I don't know. Maybe this is a good idea.
It's been frying
Now-
up. So let's make a slurry. For that,
I don't really like green peppers, so I haven't put very much, and I'm going to overcook the green peppers.
I will be using, I'm using Sriracha.
All right. You're making the sauce. Did you call it a slurry?
Yeah. I would like to
Well,
put
What about a tablespoon of sriracha, it looks like?
tablespoon.
So when I went to the store, I had two options of sriracha. One was like medium sweet. I mean, that's medium hot. And one was, it said very hot. I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to get the genuine Thai, very hot. And the owner of the store said, nope, the medium hot is actually the genuine.
I'm using white wine vinegar. That is also 1 tablespoon of white wine vinegar.
I only have red wine vinegar. That's okay. Is it
I
like
think
you're using like a teaspoon of sriracha, teaspoon of vinegar?
No,
Tablespoon.
Tablespoon, okay.
And I have the soy sauce. So I will be using that also, a tablespoon.
All right, so I put a tablespoon of soy sauce. Yeah, I use this liquid aminos because it's, part of it is because it's gluten-free.
And I like to use tomato ketchup to bind everything. So I will be using a tablespoon and a teaspoon of tomato ketchup.
This is interesting because we're making like the original Chinese ketchup, which was like soy sauce based. All right. Tablespoon of ketchup.
I'm just mixing this. And I like to add sugar, teaspoon of sugar in it.
I didn't hear you.
A teaspoon of sugar.
So I guess if you use the apple cider vinegar, you wouldn't have to put sugar.
Maybe because I have like
It's already
never.
sweet.
It's all
I've
about
never
sweet and sour.
used apple cider before, so Keep taking on your vegetables too.
You're
And
taking on a risk.
And I'm using some fresh ground pepper.
I'm
And
using
if you
some
don't
not
want to
so
use
fresh
sugar,
ground
you
pepper.
can use maple syrup.
I'm going to put an 1/8 teaspoon in there. Looks like you just put just a little bit. Fred, am I keeping up with her? Did I miss something? Let's see.
We added, let me recall,
I think you're okay.
Sriracha, soy sauce, white wine vinegar, tomato ketchup, black pepper, sugar, and a teaspoon of cumin.
Oh. And how about toasted sesame oil?
Yeah, we will be adding that.
Okay.
Are you putting like a tablespoon of all of these things? I have no amounts here. The sesame oil,
Let's
Sesame
see.
oil, a tablespoon.
yeah?
It was a tablespoon of all the wet ingredients
Okay.
and a teaspoon of the cumin and just a dash of
Sugar.
black pepper.
Yeah.
But she just ground that, so I just put it. I personally put an 1/8 of a teaspoon in there.
And I like to add 2 tablespoons of this corn flour.
Oh, you add corn flour to this too?
Yes.
That's
2
cornstarch.
tablespoons of corn flour.
Cornstarch. Oh.
Cornstarch, not,
Sorry,
yeah, cornstarch is not, yeah, not corn flour, cornstarch.
Sorry,
Okay.
yeah, cornstarch.
That's the thickener.
Then I use corn flour for my, and so on the outside of this, it's got chunks of, it's like really crunchy corn on the outside of mine. I did not use corn
It's
starch.
just to thicken up your sauce.
Yeah, anything works if it's thick and soft. Okay.
So just to let you know, you can use corn flour or cornstarch
Yeah.
on the outside of the tofu.
And I think I'll be needing a little bit of salt in this because soy sauce already has a salt, so I'm not putting much. Maybe a tea or less than a teaspoon of salt. We can always add salt to our liking.
So yeah, this is like a dumpling dipping sauce, except I don't think you add the cornstarch in dumpling dipping sauce.
No, it's just there as a thickening agent.
All right, where's my corn? Here's my cornstarch. How much? It's like a teaspoon.
I use like 2 tablespoons.
2 tablespoons. All right.
And now at this point, I'm cutting my onion. Oh, sorry, tomato. And for tomato, I don't like to use the middle part. I'm just using the outer part of tomato.
So this is cutting the tomatoes.
Yeah. And
all right. Yeah, that completely, the cornstarch completely changed everything. It went from a dumpling dipping sauce to.
Looks like Thousand Island dressing.
All right.
I'm not sure what part of the tomato is going in, the outside or the inside.
both are going in, but outside is going as a vegetable, and the inside part, I would like to cut it like really small and put it in that slurry, so nothing goes with.
Okay.
Okay, so interesting. So you're like dripping out the center of it, the wet part.
And chopping it up.
Like this.
Yeah.
And then chopping it up.
Chop up the inside part.
And then you're putting the Oh, chopping up the inside part, not the outside.
Yeah, chop up the inside part to make it more like part of the sauce. And
Got it.
then the outside is more like another vegetable.
I've never done that. How do you have a trick to how you take the inside out?
You just use a paring knife.
Yeah, I just use a knife to.
If I use
Small
the
knife.
small, if I use the smaller knife, it might be easier.
Yeah. And just remember to stir your vegetables as well. I think my vegetables are cooked. And I
My
like to
vegetables are
add
looking
tofu
nice.
at this point.
So with the big knife, I was just taking it and making a V in it like that,
Yeah.
and it comes out pretty with the big knife. Instead of me pulling out the paring knife so I don't make another thing dirty.
Okay,
So
she's added back the tofu, and now she's going to add the sauce.
yeah, are we here yet?
Did you just do like 2 tomatoes or how many tomatoes?
1 tomato,
Okay.
One big
Right.
tomato.
1 big tomato.
Are the
That might be-
outsides of the tomatoes in there now?
No, not yet, because we will be adding at the end.
Because they
So
turn
not yet.
mushy really quick. Yeah.
So I'm adding the sauce.
What do we do with the garlic and ginger?
We put it at the first.
Got it.
And
Uh,
when you put the sauce in this, I'm adding 2 cups of water in this.
Wow.
So did you add the tofu first or the sauce first?
Tofu and then 2 cups of water.
So is this gonna cook a while? Because my carrots and celery and zucchini and red pepper isn't really cooked yet, but is it okay to go
it's
ahead
gonna
with the tofu and the sauce?
Yeah, this is going to
It-
have to simmer to cook down the sauce.
Yes,
Okay, so the veggies will get cooked
yes.
during this
If
simmering
they're like
stage.
half cooked, then it's fine. It will be.
So you're making like we're making like a gravy here to thicken it.
Yeah. Yeah. And then as it cooks down, it'll thicken and be reduced.
Okay.
Okay, so when we were starting to do this, what I thought we were gonna have was tofu, a veggie stir fry, and a dipping sauce and rice. So we'd have like 4 dishes.
I don't know
Oh.
where you got the dipping sauce part.
Well, I mean, just looking how we were doing it, I was thinking you have 4 dishes set out. So if you wanted to make it really fancy, you could probably do that. You could set 4 dishes out.
Mhm.
I don't
This
know.
is
You know,
more-
usually a dipping sauce is you use it with dumplings or noodles.
Oh, I forgot to put the purple pepper in. Luckily, peppers you can eat raw.
Yeah, you can put it now. It doesn't matter.
I put one of them, but there was 2 of them. They were like these nice little purple peppers.
Purple pepper eater.
All right, mine's really boiling. I'm gonna turn it down here. Oh, that looks so beautiful. I actually never take a picture while we're cooking, but that
Mhm.
I have to. I don't know. Let's see.
Fine.
All right, so
It's
I've
simmering.
still got the tomatoes where we've stripped out the center out, sitting out here. Did that go in there yet? No, that's gonna go right at the end. I'm starting to get really excited about this dish. Look at this. Wow. Now we're leaving this uncovered because we want it to reduce and thicken up, right? Oh, look at that. It's actually almost thick already from that cornstarch.
Mhm.
It's like, it looks a lot like, what was it?
It's like making gravy.
Was it the Chinese, like, Szechuan chicken or No, probably not. I'm trying to think. Sweet and sour chicken. We usually have like a lot of these colored peppers in it. That is what it reminds me of course. So what? All right,
So I'm trying to toast my sesame. So
I
I'm
forgot I
taking
had this
another
squash I
pan.
needed to use up. You think it's too late to put the squash in there? I need to use it up. It cooks really
I think
quick.
it's late now. Yeah.
Too late. All right, I'll save that.
Yeah, because tomatoes once they did cook.
So I've
Toast
got-
your sesame, toasted
Yeah, I'm
sesame
using,
seeds.
Tablespoon of
Well, I've got toasted sesame oil, so I don't have to. No, and then we've got the green onion still too.
yeah, it looks really good. The toasted sesame at the top. That's why I like to use it.
You
I
gotta
forgot.
watch your-
I got mushrooms. I forgot that. I got to put some mushrooms in there. I've got
Yeah,
more
we can put
tomatoes.
Mushrooms. We can put mushrooms.
You can't,
Yeah, we can put mushrooms.
don't go away from your sesame seeds, they'll burn.
Yeah,
You gotta
I'm
watch
here.
them.
I'm here.
So you think I could add a mushroom to it right now?
Maybe not.
I think so. They cook really
yeah.
quick.
Yeah, I think mushroom will be fine. You can add it.
But yeah, squash takes longer to cook.
Mushrooms you can use it raw.
Well, most people don't eat mushrooms raw though. But, all right, mine's really thickening up really nice. Oh man. I'm
And always
excited.
taste, if you think it's more salty, then put a little bit of sweetness and sour in it. If it's like just balance with your taste.
It's got like all the different flavors in there. It's so colorful. Smells so wonderful here. Okay. How much sesame seeds are we toasting?
I toasted around a tablespoon of, around tablespoon of.
You're just making up all this recipe, aren't you?
Yes.
Yes. That's how much. So it's just like, oh yeah, around a tablespoon of everything.
I mean, this is my own recipe, so
Actually, I mean, that's why I have a hard time baking, because I'm so used to recipes just being, an outline for what. Baking, you can't do that so much. You have to be very careful. So.
okay. So
Alright.
I'm taking you back to my cutting zone. I have like 3 spring onions.
Okay.
And the tomatoes, they are also like a big chunks. I'm just cutting
Cutting them in half.
Yeah, cutting them in half.
They were quartered now, so we're
Yeah,
making
it's
them
like
into an eighth.
1/8 size.
They'll
And
go
I'm
in the
adding
pan.
them now.
Still have my ginger and garlic here.
Okay, so the tomatoes go in the pan.
All
Yeah.
right.
Because it's thickening up, so it's fine.
Okay.
I planted green onions from the grocery store and now they're like 3 foot tall.
So did you just plant just the very bottom tip, or the
No,
whole
I just
thing?
took the whole thing and just stuck it in the ground.
Okay.
So I'm just using the green part, but it's up to you whatever you like to do. Because it's more like a garnish thing.
So I like, with green onions, I like cutting them long and skinny this way, like if I'm doing the white, like
She's
twice.
cutting them on the diagonal.
Yeah, I'm just cutting them. I think this looks prettier. I don't know. So it feels like my tofu is almost done because it's in when we take it out of heat, it will be thickening up more. So I just squeeze off my meat.
All right. I've turned the heat off of mine. I'm gonna taste the sauce here.
Yeah, it's you like something all of that.
All right, let me taste the sauce. Oh my goodness. And we still haven't put all the flavors in. I think my seeds are almost toasted.
So I'm just adding
You're putting the green onions.
on top.
Yeah.
All right.
And
I'm gonna save just a pinch to put on the fancy plate, right? Actually, I have more green onions. I don't know what I'm talking.
Watch your sesame seeds or they'll burn.
Yep. But luckily, I put it on the lowest setting.
so this is
Wow. Hold it, I'm gonna take a screenshot of that dish. Don't move. See if I can get it
All
going
right.
here. All right.
The
okay.
only mistake I made is I used corn flour instead of cornstarch, but I like how crunchy it made the outside of the tofu.
Yeah, the purpose was to make it crunchier. So if it whatever makes it crunchier, that works. Maybe I said corn flour. I should have said corn flour.
And I was very excited to see that it wasn't regular flour because I tend to be gluten sensitive. All right, so my seeds are still on, but there. What do I do with the seeds?
Pour them in your dish.
So that's when we're gonna serve it. Gonna put it on
Yeah,
top.
yeah. I just put it on the top.
She put it right in the pan on top of the other stuff.
Everything.
All right, that's every. Well, did I forget to put the ginger and garlic in?
Oh, did you? It was at the first.
Right in the beginning?
It's too late.
Oh man.
Because when the oil was heated, I put the ginger and garlic, and then I put the onions.
I did a good job of cutting them up. Yeah.
Or
I had them set.
just gonna taste
I
it.
didn't have them in front of me. I had them set over here behind me. So space. And then I
sorry.
still didn't. I never put sesame oil in either.
You can put it on the top.
So
It's toasted already.
Not too much.
well, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make this into a Thai sauce real quick, which is toast. Like I like to make toasted sesame oil, basically ginger, garlic, toasted sesame oil, vinegar, and then you're supposed to put a dash of fish sauce. And for a while there, I was really addicted to that. Well, I just bought a new can of this today, so this is the last
Good
of it.
timing. Good timing.
So I like to serve it on the top of rice. So this is my rice. It's a little bit sticky. And I just
All right. Let's set it out here.
with this.
I can't believe. Here I was saying you can never have too much garlic, and I put new garlic. So mine's going to be really garlicky because I have fresh garlic here.
So this is my serving plate.
Beautiful.
Hold
All
it
right.
still so I can take a screenshot.
Okay.
Does anybody have any questions
Bring it
about?
back.
Nope, I forgot rice.
Okay, got it.
Does anybody have any questions about what we did? I felt like I almost kept up.
Nice, good view of the plate. If anybody wants to take a picture or something.
So you serve it right on top of the rice.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you first put a dab of ghee? No. All right.
Yum, yum.
And then some green onions and toasted sesames. So yeah, this is like a real fusion dish, huh? All right. We have wrapped it up.
Okay.
Hold the door. I'll
Oh,
get a screenshot.
oh wait.
Okay.
No, let me get my face in it. I don't like my face usually, but this right here I'm proud of. Well,
Okay, hold on. Okay, got it.
this is just
Hold it
like,
Deepa.
oh my goodness.
Okay, got it.
Thank you.
All right. Any final words?
Enjoy the dish. That's
Great
Thank
dish.
you. Thank you very much.